Hello and welcome to today's show, the SMC Journal Show. I'm Scott Moore, your host. Thank you so much for being with me. On today's program, we're going to be talking once again about the P99 Conference. If you are a serious performance nerd and you like to hear about how to take systems and scale them out to very, very large sizes, and whether it's down at the code level, whether it's something an SRE might be interested in, or a performance engineer, performance tester, there is something in this conference for you. You're definitely going to want to check it out. And in today's show, we are going to once again be talking to Tim Koopmans of ScyllaDB, who are the sponsors of this conference, this virtual conference. It's coming out October 22nd, 23rd of 2025. You aren't going to want to miss it. We're going to talk to Tim about what it takes to put on this conference and what you can expect to see. Hey, Tim, welcome back to the SMC Journal.
Hi, Scott. It's great to be back. It's been a year.
Yeah, I cannot believe it's already been that long. We are once again talking about the P99 conference. And what I always tell people, and the way I label this conference, is this is a conference for people serious about performance. And can get really, really deep, really, really fast. So you've been involved with this now. How many years?
A couple of years, I think
Yeah.
I've been, hosting this conference. And when I say hosting, obviously that's the only live component. But as you know, it's a virtual conference. So yeah, it's been 2 years. I must be. Yeah, I feel like I've done it a few times now. So yeah, it's
Tell us a little
getting
bit
easier.
what goes into putting on this kind of a conference, because this is unique compared to, like, see, the other conferences are usually around QA, or they're around load testing or something like that, or they're around Kubernetes at KubeCon, but this is specifically around like hardcore performance of large scale systems. So what goes into putting that together?
Yeah, yeah. And I agree. I think, by the way, I think I'm biased, but I do think it's probably the best performance-related, conference out there in this format. And obviously, we've both been to lots of conferences in the past, and I hope you kind of you're on the same wave. But yeah, to sort of pull something like this off, there's like a ton of content. I've got some numbers here just to give you an idea. I think we've got 36 concurrent tracks in terms of presentations. We've got about 8 keynotes spread across 2 days. Something like 44 scheduled, recordings, and another 28 sort of recordings in what we call instant access. And I'll talk more about instant access. Remind me, but obviously, to do something like this takes a lot of a lot of organization. It's not me. We've got a really creative team at ScyllaDB. There's people like Natalie and Cynthia who do all the sort of the hunting for speakers, great speakers to come and talk at P99. And I guess over time that just the presence of P90, the format is really appealing. So a lot of people want to speak at P99. We have a really tough job just kind of filtering out all of the presentation submissions, etc. So yeah, there's a ton of work, yeah, that goes into it. It's and like I said, it's the format. I think it's the only one of the only conferences where I think it was Brian Cantrell said it. Maybe he said, it's the only conference where you can go and see yourself talk and then get heckled by the audience in real time, like in chat. So it's really cool.
That's right, and I love the fact that it's a virtual conference. Anybody can watch this as it
Yeah,
happens. So, talk a little bit about the kinds of topics that are covered in here. And I've actually got a couple of questions about a few of the keynotes as well. But what are the kind of
yeah.
things that you're going to hear about?
So we don't set hard. I mean, the main rule is it's got to be something to do with P99 latency in general. It's kind of like the entry criteria. But what we end up and then what we I guess end up having every year is like these unofficial themes or tracks, and so there's always like a really strong sort of Rust and sort of systems programming kind of theme. We've definitely got an AI theme, of course, this year. But other strong contenders are things like low latency data and streaming. Observability is always popular, so observability, debugging, and a testing component as well. And then, being a database company, ScyllaDB, we have a lot of stuff on sort of database and storage kind of innovation, and we'll be talking about a new feature, which is vector search, facility B. That would be a key thing from us. And then, yeah, performance engineering, the stuff that you and I just love and have lived for the last 20 odd years or more. Serialization protocols, methods, reliability, all the IDI words, really. These are the sorts of themes that evolve at each year's conference.
What's something that you have picked up on, or one of your favorite presentations that you've seen at one of these?
The ones that I've seen in the past, I've like eBPF caught me by surprise. Like I didn't really have much experience in it, and I've always been, I've always loved performance monitoring, and obviously got that performance testing background. So uh, chats about eBPF. Liz Rice is a really great speaker there. And but this year, I think I'm probably more excited about the AI stuff. Of course, we've got some great speakers in that space. I'm just flicking tabs. But one of the ones that I'm excited about is Chip Yuen, and she used to work on machine learning at NVIDIA. And she's also written a couple of books. One is on AI engineering, so that's a really good book. I think it's on, what is it, on O'Reilly? So go and check that one out. We can probably drop some links in the chat, I guess. But yeah, there's some really great presentations this year. Super technical, super nerdy. So if you, it's not really, we've got. I'd say we've got the full spectrum of intermediate all the way through to hardcore mass stuff that just flies over my head.
And mine too. I don't know it all by any means, but I did notice that I was actually asking about. I was going to ask about that presentation by Chip, making LLMs run fast, and I think that's
Mm,
on a lot of people's minds right now. Is people who have traditionally tested and done performance engineering against web applications or traditional applications, how do you even approach testing some of the LLMs? This is stuff that's been done internally in these companies, but I'm not sure that it's been shared outside of those companies, how they do it and how
yeah.
well they're doing it. So is this something that we can learn at the conference?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously no spoilers because I don't want to steal presenters' thunder. But a lot of the times, it's really just quite simple concepts that you and I have tested, to end's length on, queuing system, queuing theory, and putting caches in the right spot, and removing bottlenecks. So it's all sort of the practice that especially your audience are used to solving, just in a different context, really. And so yeah, that's always the thing that really stands out for me. Some of these big logo companies that we have presenting about their performance problems, often the solution is quite straightforward or quite simple, and but it's just done at a scale that perhaps when we're not all used to. Yeah,
It seems also that this is definitely it's performance, but it's not just for performance engineers because there's presentations about how we rewrote the Lambda extension in Datadog in Rust. So I'm thinking that's going to be a hardcore developer attending that.
yeah. I think I don't like. I mean, the boundaries have shifted, right, in terms of traditional roles, and everyone's in everyone's business these days. Is my feeling. So you can't really get by without knowing a little bit about systems programming, or architecting, engineering end-to-end systems, or even just low-level sort of programming techniques these days. You sort of most people that I relate to have their hands in all sorts of stuff like this. So yeah, it's definitely. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't just put market this and say, oh, it's only for performance engineers, because you're absolutely right. There's people like building low level. I think before we've had people building stuff at the kernel level, stuff like that. So yeah, heaps of really interesting content.
Being that this is put on by ScyllaDB, I would assume there is also an emphasis on database performance. And how do you feel these days about about scaling databases and the need for that? Because I'm seeing that is like that's one of the biggest, most pressing issues as we get into data lakes and lake houses and houses on the lake, whatever you're calling them these days. They're getting bigger. The amount of transactions are becoming more than they ever have. How is that being addressed here?
Yeah, Most people don't want to think about the database too much, right? Like it's not a problem until it is, and then suddenly it's a massive problem because, as you know, like databases can consume a big chunk of the IT budget, and so those compelling reasons why people are looking at different database technologies. Perhaps they're solving for cost. Perhaps they're solving for just sheer throughput, like how many writes they're taking in. Maybe they're solving for latency, which is what this whole conference is about. But these are sort of like the drivers that I guess people, looking out into the ecosystem and saying, what database is good at this particular role, rather than trying to just find like the one database to rule them all. So we actually have a lot of database content as you've highlighted, a lot from ScyllaDB as well, just advertising our own features, but also other databases that are really interesting, like Terso, and doing stuff on the edge with very small databases, a whole bunch of Postgres stuff. Everything's in there, so it's really cool. I think even Tiger Beetle, they're in here as well. They're doing some really cool stuff in the database world. So
That was actually a
check
new
out.
one on me. I was actually wondering about that. It's like every time I turn around, there's a new one, there's a new name, and you got to figure out what it's about.
Tiger Beetle's awesome. They've got some great content. So definitely, I think what's their one's about tower latency. So be sure to check that one out. That's a really cool talk.
All right, so give me your best pitch for the P99 conference and why people should attend this conference.
Okay, so I'm completely unprepared, and thanks for putting me on the spot. But if you care about tail latency, if you understand the difference between a mean and a quantile or a percentile, then this conference is all for you. If you want to find out all the latest in terms of what people are using at scale in different companies, big name companies, small companies, we've got a lot of scientists doing research, that sort of stuff. Then this conference is the place to be. Like I touched on earlier on, it's got a whole bunch of all the itty words. So reliability. There's some security stuff in there. There's definitely some really interesting AI use cases. And once again, it's the format that I just love this format. It's for me, it's live. For everyone else, it's virtual and pre-recorded. You can chat to all of the session speakers themselves. Like we get a lot of the session speakers to basically be there for their session. So you don't have to hang around at the end of the conference and hopefully get some airtime. You can just ask them questions. So that's a really cool thing about this. And yeah, what else do I love about P90? I love the road trip that it takes to get there. We start in LA and end up in the valley somewhere at the recording studio, and we are always seeking like the best tri-tip sandwich. I think Firestone Grill. Do you know that one, or is that like a chain? But anyway,
I'm
that's
not
definitely a
sure on
highlight
that.
for me.
And Tim, thanks always. You're always welcome on the SMC Journal.
Thank you very much, Scott. It's great to be back here, and maybe see you again for the Monster Scale Summit.
That would be great. Let's not wait another year.
Cheers,
Okay.
mate.
Always great to have Tim on the show. I hope that whets your appetite for what to expect with this conference. I hope you'll go check it out. If you want to know more about it, you can go to P99conf.io. You can also take a look at the links that we've got on the video description below. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.